In a world where noise is constant and movement never stops, there exists a forgotten path, one that vanishes before it's ever noticed. It's the path of the ninja. While today the word ninja conjures images of shadowy figures, throwing stars, and dramatic action, the truth is far more subtle and infinitely more powerful. The ninja wasn't just a warrior. They were philosophers of silence, masters of the invisible, experts at doing more by appearing to do less. What if everything we've been taught about success, about effort, is wrong? We're told, push harder, sleep less, hustle more. But what if the ninja knew something different? What if trying less could actually achieve more? In this video, we'll explore the true philosophy of the ninja, not just as silent warriors of feudal Japan, but as masters of flow, of presence, and of discipline. Their lessons may be ancient, but they hold the key to solving a very modern problem: how to live with clarity in a world addicted to chaos. This isn't about fantasy, it's about a forgotten truth, one that could change how you work, think, and live forever. Most of us are caught in a loop, chasing goals, obsessing over results, and mistaking movement for progress. But the ninja operated differently. Their strength didn't come from brute force or constant exertion. It came from understanding rhythm, timing, and the art of disappearance. They trained to sense the moment, not dominate it. They didn't act unless action was necessary, and when they did move, they did so with a precision that made them invisible, not just to their enemies, but to the world itself. This ancient wisdom challenges our modern narrative. It whispers, what if doing less isn't laziness, but strategy? What if quiet isn't weakness, but mastery? Through the lens of the ninja, we'll uncover a deeper meaning of effort, one rooted in presence, detachment, and mental clarity. These aren't just martial tactics, they're life tactics, and they might just be what we need to survive and thrive in an era of constant noise. So stay with me, because what you're about to discover isn't just another history lesson. It's a map, a guide to a different kind of power, the kind that doesn't scream, but whispers. Forget Hollywood's version. The true ninja was not a black-clad assassin flipping across rooftops. The real shinobi were far more complex and far more disciplined. Emerging from the shadows of feudal Japan, ninjas were originally peasants, monks, and warriors trained in unconventional tactics. But beyond espionage and sabotage, their greatest strength lay in their philosophy, a way of life known as ninjutsu. Ninjutsu wasn't merely about infiltrating castles or gathering intelligence. It was about understanding the world deeply enough to move through it undetected, to see patterns before they emerged, to sense danger before it revealed itself. They trained relentlessly in body, mind, and spirit. But unlike the samurai, whose honor was tied to glory and visible strength, the ninja's power came from anonymity, subtlety, and survival. Their lives depended on adaptability. They studied nature, human behavior, and even psychology. They knew that the key to winning wasn't overpowering, it was outwitting. The ninja was the ultimate strategist, not because he fought harder, but because he saw what others missed. Some historical texts suggest that many ninja families passed down secret scrolls called densho, filled with teachings not just on stealth, but on mindset, how to remain emotionally unshaken, how to observe without bias, how to act without ego. In a sense, the ninja was a ghost, not because he vanished, but because he never allowed the world to fully see him. His greatest battles were often internal. His ultimate mission? Mastery of the self. And in that mastery, we find something profound. The ninja's art was never about destruction. It was about clarity, about doing only what was needed, nothing more, nothing less. Even in their silence, there was intention. Even in their invisibility, there was control. To be a ninja wasn't simply to hide, it was to see the world with eyes unclouded, to move with purpose, and to live in full awareness of one's surroundings. This awareness was their weapon and their shield. To the ninja, effort was never about display. It was about results, often achieved without anyone noticing. In today's world, we wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. We post about sleepless nights, wear stress like armor, and glorify the hustle. But ninjas followed a different creed: move in silence, act with intention, and leave no trace. This wasn't laziness, it was mastery. The ninja learned that visibility invites resistance, that the loudest effort often draws the strongest opposition. Instead, they practiced the art of invisible effort, where every action was stripped of excess and guided by precision. Their movements were fluid, their decisions minimal. They trained to conserve energy, not burn it, to vanish rather than confront, to adapt rather than force. Theirs was a path of minimal resistance, not because they feared effort, but because they understood its cost. The concept of invisible effort is deeply connected to the Japanese principle of shibumi, effortless perfection. A ninja wouldn't struggle against the current. He would become the current. He would observe, blend, and then strike only when it mattered most. This quiet elegance gave rise to results far beyond what brute force could ever achieve. In combat, it meant striking once, and only once. In life, it meant acting only when clarity aligned with necessity. Imagine solving problems not by force, but by understanding the patterns behind them. Imagine working without tension, achieving without stress, moving through challenges with the ease of breath. This was the ninja's way. It's not that they didn't try, it's that they didn't over-try. Invisible effort is the discipline of economy, not doing less, but wasting nothing. No motion, no thought, no word, unless it serves the outcome. And in that quiet discipline lies true power. To understand the ninja is to understand a path, not just a skill set. That path was called the Shinobi no Michi, the way of the ninja. This wasn't a list of techniques, it was a philosophy. A silent doctrine passed down not through loud proclamations, but through generations of observation, discipline, and deep introspection. At the heart of this path was the principle of Mushin, no mind, a state where the mind is clear, free from distraction, not empty but present. In Mushin, there is no fear, no hesitation, no thought of winning or losing. There is only action, clean, focused, unburdened. The ninja trained not only their bodies, but their perception, to notice the slightest movement, to feel shifts in energy, to act without conscious thought because the body had been trained to know what to do. Mushin is not passivity, it's pure readiness. It's the state where judgment doesn't cloud the moment, where emotion doesn't override logic. In this state, the ninja could move before danger even appeared. Alongside Mushin was another essential virtue, fudoshin, immovable mind, the emotional stillness in the face of chaos. A ninja could stand calmly in the middle of uncertainty, not because he had no fear, but because he wasn't owned by it. These states of mind were cultivated through relentless training and reflection. But they weren't just battle strategies, they were life philosophies, a way of being. To live like a ninja meant to remain unseen, yes, but more than that, it meant remaining undisturbed, to let go of ego, of unnecessary tension, of everything that distracts from clarity. This is Shinobi no Michi, the art of acting without clinging, of seeing without judging, of living without noise. A way not of doing more, but of being more. To the modern mind, stillness feels like inaction. But to the ninja, stillness was preparation. It was awareness. It was power. In a world obsessed with momentum, the ninja trained themselves to be motionless. Not because they lacked energy, but because they understood timing. They didn't rush. They waited, and then struck with total decisiveness. This ability wasn't accidental. It was born from discipline. From practicing the same move 1,000 times, not for perfection, but for presence. Because when the body knows what to do, the mind can be free. This is what we now call flow, a state where action and awareness merge, where effort disappears and movement becomes music, where thought vanishes and instinct takes over. The ninja entered flow through discipline, through repetition, through a radical commitment to simplicity. They understood that stillness wasn't the absence of action. It was the alignment of action with awareness. In this state, they didn't think. They responded. Their actions were not reactionary, but intuitive. Every motion came from clarity, not chaos. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm, yet feeling untouched by the wind. That is the power of stillness. That is the discipline of flow. In today's world, flow is elusive. We are overstimulated, distracted, pulled in every direction. But the ninja remind us that we don't enter flow by accident. We enter it by clearing space, by mastering routine, by slowing down long enough to synchronize with the rhythm of life. And once you're in it, the world changes. Time slows, actions feel effortless, and results, the kind that matter, begin to arrive without force. Stillness isn't the opposite of success, it's the foundation of it. Stillness sharpens the senses. It's in the silence that the ninja could hear what others missed: the creak of a floorboard, the shift of intention in an enemy's stance. They mastered the pause, and in that pause found control. We live in an age that worships the grind. Hustle culture tells us that success demands sacrifice, of sleep, of peace, of balance. The louder you work, the more you're celebrated. The busier you are, the more you're believed to matter. But this way of living has a cost. Burnout is rising. Anxiety is rampant. Many are achieving more, but feeling less. The ninja offer a counterpoint, not just in method, but in mindset. They show us that efficiency doesn't come from force, but from finesse, from understanding when to move and when not to. Instead of grinding endlessly, the ninja conserved energy. They moved with intention, rested when needed, and acted only when the moment was right. Their path wasn't about constant output, it was about intelligent engagement. This stands in stark contrast to our modern pace. Today, stillness feels suspicious. Rest feels like weakness. But in the world of the ninja, rest was strategic. Invisibility was power. Silence wasn't empty, it was full of awareness. What if the key to modern productivity isn't more apps, more hours, or more pressure, but more clarity? What if we stopped measuring effort by how drained we feel, and started measuring it by how aligned we are? The ninja didn't just train to fight, they trained to live, with rhythm, with intention, with a deep understanding that energy is a currency too valuable to waste. Maybe we don't need to push harder, maybe we need to see sharper, to think cleaner, to act from calm instead of chaos. Hustle can build momentum, but wisdom sustains it. The ninja remind us, the most powerful movements are often the quietest. Their lessons remind us that slowing down isn't about falling behind. It's about moving with purpose. In a world sprinting toward burnout, perhaps the real victory is in learning how to walk again, with awareness in every step. The ninja didn't leave behind monuments or empires, but they left behind something far more valuable: a way of living. In a world where effort is loud and distraction is constant, their quiet path offers a profound reminder. True strength doesn't need to shout. It moves with intention. It listens. It waits. And when the moment is right, it acts. Perhaps it's time to stop fighting against the current, to stop overthinking, overtrying, and overdoing, and instead, to return to clarity, to choose presence, to rediscover power in stillness. The ninja lived in shadows, but their wisdom shines even today. If this video resonated with you, consider subscribing. There's much more to explore, and sometimes the most unexpected paths lead to the deepest truths. Like, share, and join the journey. Until next time, walk with awareness. And remember, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing unnecessary.